Well, welcome back to week 14. This week we're going to have a candid conversation with my friend Allen from church. Hope you guys enjoy. God bless you.
veiled sun. Disaster comes, oh my soul, oh my soul. When waters rise and hope takes flight, oh my soul, oh my soul, oh my soul. Ever faithful, ever true, you I know, you never let go. You never let go, you never let go, you never let go. You never let go, you never let go, you never let go. Clouds brought rain, disaster came, oh my soul, oh my soul. When waters rose and hope had flown, oh my soul, oh my soul, oh my soul. Ever faithful, ever true, you I know, you never let go. You never let go, you never let go, you never let go. You never let go, you never let go, you never let go. Oh, my soul overflows. Oh, what love. Oh, what love. Oh, my soul fills with hope. Perfect love never lets go. You never let go. You never let go. You never let go. You never let go, you never let go, you never let go. Oh, what love, oh, what love, oh, what love. Oh, what love, oh, what love, oh, what love. Joy and pain, sun and rain, you're the same, you never let go. Joy and pain, sun and rain, you're the same, you never let go. Joy and pain, sun and rain, you're the same, you never let go. You never let go, you never let go.
Well, hello everybody. We're here today with Allen. We're just going to have a little talk. Just kind of get to know Allen. Very down-to-earth guy. I like his lesson studies and in our Bible study classes. Just somebody I can very much relate to in life. He's helped me with some audio setups at home, getting our studio going. And that's what he does at church. He's the head of the sound system there.
Yep.
So Allen, just start off, let's tell us about your childhood.
All right. I was born and raised in Topeka, Kansas, and I was very interested in sports and athletics, and then I got a scholarship to play college football, Division II college football at William Jewell College in Liberty, Missouri. And then at William Jewell College, I learned a few things. I was a double major in fine art and philosophy. I was a member of a fraternity, and of course playing football. And I learned that I wasn't going to be able to make any money being a fine artist or a philosopher, and I knew I wanted to be a family man. I wanted to have my own family. Two, I knew I wasn't going to go anywhere in football past college, and I had team members that were, getting surgeries for their knees and shoulders and just getting banged up. And three, the only thing I was really good at was my fraternity. I was really good at that, and I knew that I couldn't do that for the rest of my life. So one night, it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and a commercial came on the television. I was the only one awake. Everybody was asleep. And it was, "Do you like to tell stories?" And I thought, "Yeah, I do. Would you like to learn how to tell stories?" And I was like, "Sure, I'd like to. That's something I could do." And, "How would you like to make movies?" And I said, "That sounds fantastic." The weird part was that it ended with, "Well, then come to the Academy of Art College in San Francisco, California." Now, up until that point, I was bit with wanting to make movies, but I didn't want to go to California. I hadn't known anything other than Topeka, Lawrence, Kansas City, just kind of that area. I mean, we had traveled and done some vacations, but as far as living anywhere, we were pretty much in Northeast Kansas kind of family. And so that's where I started. I went to KU to see if I could join their film program. That didn't work out. I made a couple of trips, one to Austin, Texas, one to Boulder, Colorado. Those didn't work out. And I kept remembering this commercial, and so I flew out to San Francisco and fell in love with the city. And so on my own, I went out to San Francisco. My parents were very supportive of that. Now, being a parent, I realized how much risk and how scary that was, probably for them. But it was serendipity, because that's where I met my wife. She was in the graduate program. She was a fine artist, and I was in the motion pictures and television department as an undergraduate. And we met and fell in love, decided to get married, and that's where we started our family, was out in California. Met in San Francisco, went down to Southern California in the LA area, and I spent about almost 20 years out in California. And then after we had started our family, Layla and Audrey, this would have been in 2016, so Layla would have been 7 years old, Audrey would have been 5. My brother, who works for a steel manufacturer here in the Hutchinson area. I always forget the name. I think it's
McPherson?
No, it starts with an M, but it's right up northwest of, or northeast of Hutchinson. Medina? Is that right? Doesn't matter. Anyway, he was involved in an industrial accident and almost cost him his life. And I remember growing up and having a great time with my cousins, and my girls were just at that age, and his children. I have a niece and nephew that are very similar in age, and I kind of looked at my wife and I said, "What are we doing out here in California?" And so, moving away and starting your own family, you start to realize the importance of a family and the values of it. And so we just moved to Wichita. I got a sister up in Park City. My brother, as I said, was in Hutch. My parents are still up in Topeka. I got aunts and uncles in Valley Center and some cousins in Mays. And so we just landed in Wichita, no jobs, nothing. We sold our house in California and sold at the right time, so had a little bit of a buffer, and moved to Wichita. First week I was here, I went to a job fair at Century 2, which for most of you probably know that a job fair is mostly college recruiters and military, but there was this one little booth, didn't have anything flashy, just had 4 letters on the top of it, said KPTS, and I asked the woman that was manning the booth, what's KPTS, and she said it's our local PBS member station. And of course I grew up watching PBS, and I said, okay, well, here's my resume. I got an email that day, called a callback that night, set up an interview that morning, and basically had the job that day, and I was filling out paperwork. So it all moved really quickly, and that's kind of where we or where I'm at today. Now, as far as the church goes, and the reason why I met you, Chris, is when we had moved to Wichita, we had already, my wife and I, we had found out that the churches that were in Southern California, we were members of 2 at different points of time. We were married with one, all Seventh-day Adventists. One of the conditions when I married my wife was that I was going to be a Seventh-day Adventist too, and I said sure. And so we got married, and the church that had a wonderful pastor, and we had a little bit of a falling out while we were there, but we went to several other churches, and we could never find a church that was for us, for Mac and myself. But I had always had a great experience with church all throughout my life. I grew up Southern Baptist, and then in middle school, we started attending a Church of the Nazarene, and that's where when I graduated from high school, my family was attending. Now they attend another church, still in Topeka, but the denominations weren't so much of a big thing. It was finding the right fit, a good church for the family where everybody feels that they're a part of, and we couldn't find it. When Mac and I got married, we just couldn't find it, and it was a big bummer. When we came out to Wichita, we had tried all the very first church that we went to was Wichita South and SDA, and then we decided that we'd go to the other ones in the area, and then we came back, and from the beginning, I remember the very first time that we were at Wichita South, Debbie Manasco came up and introduced herself and invited us over for lunch that day. And we were coming from a church in Southern California where after 4 years of our kids being in the same Sabbath school as the pastor's kids, maybe not head pastor, but of the pastoral staff, after 4 years he came up and introduced himself and said that he was glad that we were visiting. So I mean, we just felt like completely distant from the churches that we were at, and so that was fantastic. And we started attending Wichita South, and we met this lovely couple, Christy and Brian Sidwell, through Pathfinders on Wednesday, and they were leading, and it was a rowdy troop. I mean, we had the 1st and 4th graders, and we noticed that they needed some help. And so we just jumped in and started helping, and had found a great bond with the Sidwells, and we found after a year or 2 of doing it, we had a really good kind of rhythm. We kind of figured it out as far as how to handle 1st through 4th graders, and keep their focus, keep their attention, and at that time I was still helping out with Revive in the mornings, or in the Sabbath school with the AV there. And then out of the blue, I got nominated to be the head AV, and then COVID hit, and we had to figure out how to stream the service, how we're going to record it. And so I've been doing that for about 3 years, and we've had our ups and downs as far as a roster to go through, but everybody that comes up to help in AV has just been fantastic. And I know that it looks like, as with most churches, it seems like it's more of an adult thing. I don't have that requirement. If you're above 12, boy or girl, come on, we can help. You can help out. Yeah. The thing with AV is there's always something.
Mm-hmm.
There's always something that doesn't cooperate. A mic that doesn't want to hold on to a frequency. Something trying to leak into the system. Internet going up and going down. There's always something. But for the most part, it's been a lot of fun. I've made a lot of friends. All the guys that are up in the AV, solid guys. And that's the biggest thing. Is one of the things that we felt that, or maybe we just didn't know that we had the permission to do, was to join a ministry. And looking back, I mean, there was a lot of things that we had going against us at these bigger churches that we were attending in Southern California. But a part of that too was just the being timid about jumping into a ministry and thinking that that's for somebody else. That's not for me. I'm not ready to be a part of a ministry. And the thing that I've learned, especially being the head of a ministry, is that's not the case at all. The whole idea with being a part of a thriving community is to be a part of a thriving community. And
right.
And as far as a church goes, that's ministry. And there's several different ministries that are being handled and juggled all the time in a church. And just because you're not an elder or part of the pastor staff or whatever, that doesn't mean that there's not a place for you. And if you'll allow it, God will point it out to you and let you know not only are you valuable and worthy of ministry, but that you can be used in ministry.
Yeah, isn't it Corinthians where they say that the foot is just as important as the hand, which is just as important as any other part of the body?
That's right.
It's all important.
That's right. And I don't know what part of the body of Christ I am, but anyway, yeah.
So you were raised a Baptist, Southern Baptist.
I was.
Was church always a part of your life?
Yeah, very much so.
Okay.
Very much so. And it was a don't miss. It was as far as growing up, I remember it was anytime the church was open, it seemed that our family was there at the church, and it was just all I knew. I didn't know it was anything different. When I was 16, though, again, my parents being very supportive, were very good at letting me sort of kind of go explore my own. I had just got my license and I was driving around, and I attended other denominations. So it wasn't just by that time we were at a Church of the Nazarene, and so I attended some Lutheran services, Catholic masses, Pentecostal services, all kinds of different things. It was all very interesting. You learn a little bit of what kind of separates different denominations, but yeah, that was pretty interesting. And it also led to me not being so fearful of becoming a Seventh-day Adventist with my wife.
Yeah, it's good not to focus on so much the differences and focus more on the similarities.
There it is.
So, family brought you to Wichita. You decided to leave California so you could be closer to family.
That was the biggest reason. I mean, there were other reasons too, But yeah, that was the biggest reason. And again, it's one of those things where in my life, when the hardest part with when you're a young person and setting up this journey, this walk with God, is you haven't gone very far. You haven't gone anywhere. I mean, it's only years, decades later when you can really look back and see all the decisions that were and choices that were made and paths that were taken, where you can really start to see. I mean, my wife she was born in Santiago, Chile, and then came all the way to San Francisco at the exact moment where I have been born in Topeka, Kansas.
Wow.
And met up with my wife at the exact moment in San Francisco. You know,
That's crazy.
it is crazy. Yeah.
Is her family still in Chile, or is...
No. Well, her extended family is.
Okay.
So I'll just go over the peaks and not so much the valleys, but just a big picture view of it. So they escaped the Pinochet regime in the 70s and immigrated here when she was 8. So this would have been early 80s, and settled in San Gabriel, California, Southern California, and then for her graduate school decided to go to San Francisco.
And work, you work for the PBS here?
Yeah, Channel 8.
What kind of work do you do there?
I'm a director and producer, so I make television.
Okay.
So anywhere from kind of doing what you're doing right now, doing a field interview is what we call this. And I got a little bit more equipment, but I mean it's exactly this, to studio producing, as well as we do live shows, which it is difficult, and it's so interesting how the brain is able to adapt. One of the hardest things, so I've been in film and television, film mostly, and in film everything is slow. You get to take your time with it.
Right.
Television, there's a clock running, and that was the hardest thing to get used to, is that there's a clock that's counting down and you got to hit it. So yeah,
like you, I grew up watching PBS. I remember, Mr. Rogers,
Yeah.
Sesame Street, Electric Company growing up. And then when my kids were growing up, we still watched a lot of PBS, Arthur, but we always enjoyed the nature programs on Sunday nights.
Yeah, and they're still making them.
Wow.
They're still making them, and they're gorgeous photography.
Yes, it really is.
I've talked to a co-producer of mine, and I'm so grateful that because I'm always thinking about, if you're up on the mountain watching the people climb up, the film crew has to go up first, know?
Right.
Or if you're in the jungle watching like a bat go in slow, a camera, somebody had to set that camera up, and figure it all out. So yeah, whoever's producing the nature programs, they're special people. Not for me. And speaking of kind of going around to what we were talking about earlier with ministry, that's the same thing too. Nobody notices the ministry until it's not there,
right,
or until it's gone wrong. So for an effective, healthy church, there's a lot of ministries that are running that you don't even know about. Who's cutting the grass?
Exactly.
Who's making sure that the parking lot gets striped? Who's making sure that the plumbing and the air conditioning, all those things, maintenance, whatever, that's ministry.
Yes.
We're not getting paid.
Right.
This is something that we're doing because we see the value of people coming together, wanting to improve their lives and further their walk with themselves and with their families.
Well, Allen, I really appreciate your time.
Okay.
Very, very good talking to you. I thought it was a very good interview.
Okay. Is that it?
Yeah, that's good. That was 23 minutes.
Okay.
Went by pretty quickly.
All right.